Hi, second graders. I have another nonfiction book to read to you today. Remember, nonfiction means it's real and teaches us something. The book this week is called Penguins, and it's written by Anne Schreiber. Do you know anything about penguins already? If you do, pause the video now and tell someone at home what you know. I'm going to take a sneak peek and make a prediction about what the author might teach us. I'm going to look for text features too. So I see on the cover a picture of a little baby penguin, so maybe we'll learn about baby penguins as well. There's nothing on the back blurb. All right, we have a table of contents where that tells us every different little chapter that the book has and what page it starts on. I see we have, I'm just going to skim through it and look for some things. Ooh, this page is full of details. I'm noticing the heading is not just any bird. I see the penguin labeled with captions this time, not just words to label the picture. I predict I will learn the different parts of a penguin and what the penguin does with those parts on this page. All right, let's just see a little bit more. Think about what you might learn on these pages and what the author might teach us. Okay, go here. All right. So hopefully you were able to get a little bit of an idea of something that the author is going to teach us during this book. So let's begin reading. Penguins by Anne Schreiber. Again, table of contents. Okay. What are they? What birds cannot fly? What birds spend most of their lives in the ocean but are not fish? What birds live in the coldest part of the world all year long? They swim, they march, they slide through the snow. They are penguins. Did you notice that on this page, the author didn't just tell us what we were going to read about? She asked us some questions first and then gave us the answer. Writers can do that too. You all can do that in your own stories. It's a really good way to start your nonfiction stories or your informational text is to start with a question. All right. Where are they? I see a new text feature. We haven't talked about this one yet. This is a map. See the map at the top? Let's see what the map does for us. All penguins live between the equator and the South Pole. Some live where it's very cold. Some live in the warmer places like the coasts of Africa or Australia. Penguins live on islands, on coasts, and even on icebergs in the sea. They just need to be near water because they spend most of their lives in the water. So the map shows me little penguins here, and I can tell that the penguins are on islands, on coasts, which means remember, a coast is the land that touches the water, and even on icebergs. So I'm going to get a little bit closer so you can see. The map is showing us where they are in our world. Also down here, this book gives us bird words. Remember our last book about planets? They had space words, if I remember correctly. But these are words that will be good keywords for learning about penguins. So I'm going to add a sticky right here, a stop and jot that tells me that these are penguin lingo words. Equator and coast. Equator, an imaginary line halfway between the North and South poles. Here it is on our map. And a coast is where land meets the water. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so here's that page that had the penguin labeled on it when we did our sneak peek. Let's see if my prediction was right, and we're going to learn about what the different parts do, okay? Not just any bird. Penguins are perfect for their lives at sea. They have a sleek shape for speed. A layer of blubber keeps them warm. So here we go. It tells us that right here, they have big webbed feet for better steering to help them go left or right or which way that they want to go in the ocean. Layers of the soft feathers trap heat. Stiff, oily feathers on top keep out water. Stiff flippers act like boat paddles to push and steer. Big eyes to see underwater. And then down here, we have another lingo, another word that we can add to our lingo list. It's webbed, connected by skin. It's webbed feet. So I'm going to add my sticky note here to put, if I can get it, to add webbed to my list of lingo words. Penguin lingo. Alrighty. Their black backs make them hard to see from above. Their light bellies make them hard to see from below. But it's their strong, solid flippers that help them escape predators and get where they want to go. Penguins can swim about 15 miles an hour. When they want to go faster, they leap out of the water as they swim. It's called porpoising. And again, here's where the author tells us how to say that word, porpoising, because it's what porpoises do. Like a dolphin. They kind of look like dolphins jumping out of the water, right? And here's the caption over here for this picture. A predator is an animal that eats other animals. So this page has a lot of information on it. I want you to pause the video now and tell someone at home or somebody around you something important that the author taught you on this page. I'm going to also add my own stop and jot, and it's going to start with I learned, and then at home you can finish that. Something that you learned from this page. Sorry, I'm trying to get it so you can maybe pause it if you have to look back at it. Okay, pause your video and talk about something that you learned. Alrighty. Wonder what information you talked about when you were reading, when you were talking about what you learned. All right. What's for dinner? Remember, this up here is called a heading. It's like a title for the chapter that we're reading. What's for dinner? Life in the ocean is fishalicious. Penguins eat a lot of fish. They have a hooked bill or beak to help them grab their dinner. Barbs on their tongues and in their throats help them to hold on to slippery food. Would you like a drink of salty water to go with that fish? Penguins are able to clean the salt out of the ocean water. They get fresh water to drink and the salt dribbles back into the ocean. That's very interesting. Here we have another lingo word to add to the list. It says barb, something sharp and pointy like a hook. I'm going to add my stop and jot with my new lingo word, barb. All right. All right, so this page does not have a new heading. It just starts out with new information. Or more information. I want you to listen to me read and see if you can figure out why the author didn't add a heading to this page. While penguins are slurping down their dinners, they have to be careful not to end up as dinner themselves. Penguins are the favorite food of marine mammals such as leopards, seals, and killer whales. Penguins are also in danger on land. Birds like the skua, the Australian sea eagle, and the giant petrel eat penguins. Even cats, snakes, foxes, and rats eat penguins when they can. So do you see that the author is still talking about penguins, food, animals eating the penguins, penguins being a part of that whole food chain? So the author wrote back here, what's for dinner? Not only were they going to give us information about what the penguins were eating, but the fact that maybe the penguins could be someone else's dinner too. Those poor penguins. But this is not new information. She didn't completely change the subject or the topic, so that's why she didn't add a new heading. A new heading would be to teach us something new. Okay. I also see another word up here, a bird word, to add to our lingo list. Marine mammals have fur and give birth to live young. Unlike other mammals, they spend most of their time in the ocean. That's what the word marine comes from. That's why they added that to mammals. Okay. On this page, I've covered up the heading. I want to read the page to you first. Listen to what I read and what you see and look at what you see in the pictures to see if you can come up with a good heading yourself. So listen to what I'm reading about first. On land, most penguins live in a large colony with thousands or even millions of other penguins. If it's cold, they huddle together. It's so warm inside a huddle that penguins take turns moving to the outside to cool off. Penguins march together to get their nesting grounds, to get to their nesting grounds, sorry. Once there, they wave, strut, shake, call, nod, dance, and sing to find a mate. Most penguins stay with their mate for many years. So think about what I read and think about what you see in the pictures and come up with your own heading for this page right here. I want you to pause the video and tell somebody at home what your heading would be. All right, let's check if your heading was close to what the author chose as the heading. The author said life on land, and that matches what she talked about. I also see another bird word down here. It says colony, a group of animals who live together. Add my stop and jot for my important lingo words. All right, we're going to read a few more pages before stopping again. A chick is born, the baby. Most penguins lay 2 eggs at a time, but often only 1 egg survives. The mother and father take turns keeping the egg warm. When it hatches, the parents keep the chick warm and fed. After a couple of weeks, hundreds or even thousands of chicks wait together while the parents go back to the sea to find food. As the chicks wait, they are in constant danger from skuas, eagles, and other animals. Think about some things that you're learning here. Finally, the parents return with food. They have to find their chicks in a huge crowd of baby birds. How do they do it? The baby birds sing special songs to help their parents find them. How smart. In a few months, the whole family returns to the sea. Very interesting. The Longest March. Has anybody ever seen that movie, The Emperor's March? The March of the Penguins? Maybe that's what it's called. They do this in there, and they also talk about how they sing and make songs and do their dances too. I think there's another penguin movie as well. For the emperor penguins, getting to their nesting grounds is hard work. Their home is Antarctica, the coldest place on Earth. Emperor penguins nest much farther from the ocean than other penguins. They must march for days and nights through snow and wind. After laying her egg, the female gives it to the male. He will keep it warm in a flap under his belly. Unlike other penguins, the male emperor cares for the egg by himself while the female goes back to the ocean to find food. You can see a little pouch in between his feet where he's going to hold the baby egg or the egg until the baby hatches. The mother is gone for more than 4 months. The father huddles with the other male penguins to keep himself and his eggs safe and warm. During this time, the father eats nothing but snow. When the mother returns in July, the father quickly goes to the ocean to find food. By December, the whole family is ready to go. So on this page, I'm wondering where the mother goes for 4 months. That's a really long time. That's like January, February, March, and April. That's a long time. It said on the page before that she goes to get food. But why does it take 4 months? And what does she do with the food that she collects during that time? I'm going to add a stop and jot here so that maybe I can look in another book or I can look online and see if I could find the answers to that. My stop and jot says, I wonder where the mom goes for 4 months. And I put food with a question mark because I'm wondering what she does with all the food that she collects for 4 months. It's a long time to just be collecting food. Okay, so the next couple of pages, we have this page, and then these 2 pages. The author does something really neat here. In the Planets book that we read, the author did like a fun facts page or a quiz. On this one, they show us different types of penguins and their sizes. This is the author's way of adding that fun facts page in. And this is something that the author does to keep me interested. You could also do this to your nonfiction book. You can see that they just talk about different penguins, their sizes, the names of all of them. Here's the smallest one, a fairy penguin. Fairy penguins sing more songs than any other penguins. It's only 16 inches tall, which is just a little bit more than a ruler. And then here's some more on this page. Sorry, it's hard to see. The largest penguin is the emperor. These penguins are, what does it say? The fastest swimmers. All right. Read this one. Penguin play. Life isn't always easy for penguins, but at least they look like they're having fun. Hopping. Rock hoppers can hop 5 feet high. Ooh, that's almost as tall as I am. Singing. Adults sing to their mates and chicks sing for their parents. Sledding. Penguins speed down icy hills on their feet and bellies to get somewhere fast. Surfing. Penguins surf through the waves. Sometimes they surf right from the water up into the land. How fun. Okay, so on this page, can you make a self-to-text connection? Do you like to do any of the things that the penguins do? Hopping, singing, sledding, or surfing? Can you tell someone at home something that you like to do like the penguins do? Maybe you can even show how you would do it if you looked like a penguin. Alrighty, and the last thing in this book is the glossary. Remember, this is our helpful text feature that tells us what the important words mean from the book, and that would be those penguin lingo words that we kept on our Stop and Jots. Okay, that was a pretty cute book. This book is finished now, but we have to ask ourselves those same questions that we talked about at the last book. What do you think the author wants us to learn? Why do you think that the author taught these specific details about penguins? Why did she write this book? When you turn this video off, I want you to talk about those questions and think why an author would do this. And also, when you're writing your nonfiction books, think about why you're writing your books and what information you would like your reader to learn. That's the most important stuff. Don't forget to add all of those text features in your own writing. Bye.